So I was thinking about your brother a lot lately.
Why?
Because your brother is a historically angry young fella. True or false?
That's I don't know if I want to talk about my brother on the podcast.
No, it's okay. We're gonna move briskly past it. Just agree with the question. So your brother is an angry young fella, right?
When we were younger, he would lash out in anger very often. Yes.
Okay, and would you still call him like a passionate guy? I guess you could say.
Yeah. I mean, it depends what you mean, but yeah.
Because what I've been thinking about lately, for no reason whatsoever, but still been thinking about it, is how I used to be like praised as a kid for being like temperate and like gentle and like meek, mild mannered, whatever, and patient. Did I already say patient? No. Okay. Well, that too. I was just a god when I was a kid.
I was just the best.
But now, like, I look at your brother, who was described in the exact opposite ways when we were kids and, like, when he was always relative to my age. Mm-hmm. But now, seeing how he is at his age, which is 16, 17? 16, almost 17. And how I was at 16, almost 17. Like, he, I guess, converted that, like, anger and recklessness and, like, undisciplined attitude towards like passion, and he pursues things, and like he has energy, which I think is essential for like guys, especially guys his age. Like he's willing to run around with a soccer ball, and I'm more like slow paced, low energy, which like I guess translated into having a long fuse. But I think seeing how he was at his age now and seeing how I was, and like comparing the two, it seems like his short fuse got translated into something that's really good for a young man to have, and he's just got like drive and ambition, and he cares about things, and like he'll get into fights about things, which I am less likely to do because I don't have a history of getting into fights about things, so I'm hesitant, and that's a new area for me. But for a young man to have, like, that's really good. So I think anger is important.
Anger is important. Actually, this is a great time to bring this up. So I can expect my audience to get this, and so I can bring this up here. So today I started watching this anime that I talked to you about.
Okay, guys.
This is just you for the rest of the podcast. This is great. This is really good. Yeah. Okay. So in this anime called Blue Lock, it's an anime about soccer, and so they take like 300 guys, they put them in this room.
Sounds like Northridge.
And they're like, take like 300 guys. They put them in this room, and they're like, okay, we're trying to make like the best soccer striker ever so Japan can be in the World Cup, okay? And so what they do is they rank them from like best to worst, and so they're trying to like weed out the worst players. Yeah. So in the first game, the first like test round, and also there's some more rules that it doesn't matter. Okay, the first test round it's basically tag. So whoever has the ball, there's a timer. Whoever has the ball at the end of the timer, they're out. They have to leave. And they can never, ever play for Japan professionally, ever. Okay. Their shot's gone. Which is kind of a dumb rule, but anyway. So, in the last, like, 5 seconds, there's this guy. There's these, like, two main characters. One's like, obviously the main character, and this, like, side character pulls up, and they're kind of, like, chummy. And they kind of know each other from, like, just, like, casual high school soccer. Not casual, but high school soccer. So, they're in this room together. And this one guy, he passes the ball to like the main character, and there's like 2 seconds left on the clock, and the main character he just like slaughters this other guy with the ball, like, and then the guy who got slaughtered, he loses, he's out, and he didn't expect it. No one expected it.
The guy who got killed was his friend?
He was like not really his friend. They were chummy. Okay,
so he betrayed him kind of.
So he kind of betrayed him, and you like you don't see it coming because you're like, oh, they're kind of chummy, and it's like an anime, so you know you don't see it coming. So anyway, the guy who gets kicked in the face, he's like, this isn't fair, and also he's like a really good player. He's like a top player. Yeah. He's like, everyone's like expecting him to go do great things, and then he loses. He's out, and then he's like complaining, and the main guy who's heading it, he's like, he pops up on the TV screen. And he's like, there was like 2 seconds left on the clock, man. You could have like taken that ball, could have kicked it at someone else, and you could have won. But you didn't. You know why? Because you didn't want it. You didn't actually want. And then they show that. But then, okay, the next episode is titled Monster. Okay. Okay. And so what happens? It's like, let's go, baby. Let's go. No. This is exactly what I thought about. So the next episode is titled Monster, So the guy who passes the ball to the main character, he like goes on this tangent about how he like whenever he's playing soccer, he has this like conscience voice that he calls his monster, and he basically like he follows it basically when he's playing soccer.
Yeah.
And so that like brings out his soccer skill. And that's how he's like, my monster told me to pass it to you because I knew you were gonna like kick him in the face. So I was thinking about this morning, and I was like, the reason that guy loses is because he's not willing to develop his monster. He's not willing to do it because this whole time he's like, I can't, like, this isn't right, because everyone's like kind of iffy about the morals of this, because the main guy who's heading this, who's gathering everyone together, he's like, the goal of a striker isn't to be a teammate, it's not to be nice. Okay, that's lame. It's to be egotistical and to be the best and to score goals. So that's what you have to do. So just destroy everyone in the competition. Yeah. And this guy's like, that's dumb. It goes against every principle I've ever learned. And like, that's stupid. But he gets out. And so then the second episode, what that means is, according to the show, is that you have to be willing to be a monster, to develop that competitiveness. So anyway, I was like expecting this to be a really bad show, but they really caught me off guard, which is actually perfect to this topic. And then he gets super mad because he's like, I'm the best one here, I should be the best, and I'm not. And then he's really mad at the guy who kicked him in the face. But
can't he just like be the best in any other position besides striker?
No. Like how?
Well, because is this whole like Squid Game-esque like selection just for being a striker on the team?
Yeah, because they're all strikers. They all play striker.
Okay. So he's got like...
So it's okay. It's like, why would you go like play midfield or whatever? Because you're a striker. It doesn't make sense.
Okay.
So that, and then he gets upset, and so because he didn't play all out because he kind of gave up, he lost.
Yeah.
And then you could say, well, it is kind of unfair, and it kind of is, but like, and part of the reason they're like, oh, we don't want to like get these guys out is because they see them and they're like, I'm ruining their career, because part of the rule is they can't go play professionally for Japan.
Yeah.
But then I thought about that, and I was like, well, that's going to happen anyway. If you get really good, like, people have to lose. Maybe you don't have to. Maybe you're not kicking them in the face directly. With the soccer ball.
But you kick them in the face one way or another.
But that's what's happening.
Yeah.
So
probably better you got kicked in the face directly than slowly screwed over the course of years.
And then because he's not like he didn't have the guts, he didn't have the resolve to like, you know, kick someone else and win, then he gets all this like built up anger because he wasn't winning, and then he lashes out on all these guys that just took him out. And so like, it's really smart. So it's perfect for this topic today. So so recently, as you know, I've been getting more and more into basketball.
Yeah.
And
I was just about to bring up basketball, actually. And
when I was like 7, 8, I was really into basketball. Basketball was the stuff. It was really fun for me. I always enjoyed sports, but basketball, like, definitely my favorite sport. And then when I was in middle school, I was just like, dude, all these players, man, they're so much better than me. There's no way. But I love basketball, but like there's no way. I'm not even gonna try. So I just quit. I just didn't try out for basketball. And that decision haunts me to this day.
Does it actually?
Yeah, I'm very upset that I did, because then I started playing like before I was, and then, you know, in high school I was like, it doesn't really haunt me. That's a dramatic way to put it, because it's like middle school basketball, but still.
Yeah.
No, as I've been playing basketball in the last week, I'm like, this is really fun. I shouldn't have stopped playing this because I actually feel way better, way less anxious. It's a great way to exercise, and like, it's just enjoyable. And for a long time I was like, yeah, basketball's like okay, like I don't need to play it, but I really enjoy playing it. Like, I really enjoy playing sports.
Yeah.
Like, it's really like, it's like a good outlet for me to like get off stress, because then you do have this like built up anger, built up anxiety, all this stuff that, like, you just don't. So anyway, it's like all this good
and
stuff.
even with like built up anger and stress and stuff, like, there's a way to use it that's good and productive. Like, even when I don't want to be using it, like exercising, I don't want to exercise, I just want to look good. So like, it got to a certain point where I was lucky because I kind of like built muscle in good places quickly, like my arms and my chest and my shoulders, and my stomach was always a little chubby, but I'm like, it's better than it was. So then I kind of stopped working out, and I like lost any sense of like responsibility, and then any sense of like using other emotions as motivation to push myself. And I did not push myself, like emotionally or physically. I was just kind of like stagnant, because I was like, I look good, like I feel good, I feel fine. But like I lost like a drive because I like settled for the easy stuff. And relationships are the exact same way. You said something, I think, just like when it comes to anger, like having an outlet. And you said something before, I forgot the exact wording. It's almost, it'd be lucky if we were recording this, because then I could go back. But anyways. Unfortunate.
Okay.
But you said something, huh?
I want to make sure this is recording. Yeah, we're still recording.
Yeah, we're still recording. But you said something that reminded me of, like, if you're angry in, like, a relationship, whether it's, like, family, loved one, whatever, like, you have to know how to use that well. Or else, one, you, like, blow up in the entirely wrong way, and, like, you're seen as, like, this angry hothead, and nothing gets done, and things get destroyed even more than they already could have been. Yeah. Or, like, two, you just, like, store it up, which is usually my route, just because of my nature, my temperament, and how, like, unlikely I am to use these, like, passionate instances. Like, I'll, like, store it up, and it'll just be inside, and then I'll, like, slowly eke it out in, like, little waves, and then, like, probably either just blow up or just, like, have this resentment in me for the next week and a half.
Yeah.
And both of those options suck. So, like, that's the thing. I mean, your brother probably went the opposite route I did in terms of, like, he was overly emotional and then learned to temper it. But I kind of feel like that's, like, how, like, overweight people will say, like, it's easier to go from overweight to muscular because, like, you have all the stuff in you. You just have to lose the weight, and then you can form the muscle. Versus skinny people who are like, not only do I have to gain all this weight, but then I have to form it into muscle. So it's kind of like if you're overweight, that's like being the temperamental, like, passionate side.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that.
And kind of like that's easier to temper because you have this stuff. You just got to cool it down. But meanwhile, like, for somebody like me, like, I feel like I have to gather the kindling. I have to start the fire. I have to, like, get the smoke out of the way, and then I have to make this big, huge flame.
Yeah. Well, that's something that bothered me, like, a lot, because I think I lean more in the same way.
Yeah.
To, like, because my brother scored so I have to explain this personality test really quick, but there's a personality test. You guys can look it up online. Very useful if you want to figure out what you're like. But anyway, one of the measures is agreeableness, and it measures, like, how compassionate you are, and basically how kind and caring you are. And so women are, like, they're higher in this dimension than guys are. And my brother, so 100, if you're it goes by percentile. So if you're in the 99th percentile, you're 1 out of 99 or out of 100. I don't remember exactly how they work, but anyway, if you're, like, first percentile, that's, like, you're 1 out of 100, the most, you're like, out of a room of 100 people, you're the most disagreeable person there. And so my brother, he took this test, and he got a 2 on it. So it's really funny because there's like there's a big difference between, I guess, how, like, watching myself versus watching my brother, how we navigate just, like, different situations in life, because he's also he'll provoke more, and I usually and I won't as much. And again, like, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. Not trying to call him my brother, because I'm not. It's very respectable, because if you can use it right, it's very respectable. And then also with compassion, if you can use it right. But, like, they both have their flaws, I guess. And yeah, I don't know exactly where that was going, but
yeah. No, I mean, I think the thing that made me think about this most was we're both theology majors, give or take some existential crises that make us switch our majors. But that's both the line that we're headed on. We both take an interest in that. And there's that one quote, I'm not going to pretend that I know what book or chapter or verse it's from, but it's basically like, God's like, hey, be hot or cold, because, like, even against me or with me.
Revelation.
Like,
I gotta find
is it Revelations?
That's what I heard, but I don't even know what this quote is.
I don't know.
Keep going. I'm gonna go look for it.
Okay, he's going to look for a Bible. I don't know how good that goose chase will get, but basically the quote is like, be hot or cold with me when it comes to me. Don't be lukewarm, because if you're lukewarm, I'm just gonna spit you out of my mouth. And to hear that from God, there's probably nothing worse. And yeah, it made me think, like, when it comes to things like passion, You don't want to, because we read, okay, this might be too niche, but like we read Hippolytus, and his whole thing was like,
dude, I don't even remember that. That's
okay,
too niche for me.
But his whole thing is basically like, he's like, oh yeah, like I'm such a man, I don't even need sexual desire. So he like blocks it out of his life entirely. Right. And that's like not even an aspect for him. Like he doesn't look at women twice. He doesn't even think about women. Like all he thinks about is like hunting and like lifting with the guys, which is fine, except it's absolutely not, because it's like you reject an essential part of yourself because you're like either afraid of what it can do, or you're genuinely like deciding for yourself which parts of your nature are essential for you or not.
Yeah, right.
And then you know, he dies in the end, and like the gods take revenge on him because they're like, this is ridiculous. He's not giving us Venus is like, he's not paying me homage, so I have to get rid of him because I feel like he was like, he can obey other gods, it's fine, but he can't just blot me out of the picture. And she represents like eros and emotion, or not emotion, lust and like sexual appetite and romance and all that.
Yeah.
And I feel it's the same way with any passion. It's like you have to know how to use it, and anger is a good thing. There's righteous anger. God did it more than a couple times.
Right. Which I think it's just kind of like trying to figure out how to implement that, because I would also like, actually, do we want to stop there? Is that a good place to stop?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're good?
Yeah, I think we're good. I think we'll stop there.
But yeah, think about how to be angry correctly. I think that's important, especially all you young guys out there. It's something that you need to defend yourself, to defend a family, to pursue a career, to pursue a woman. You have to know how to be angry correctly.
Yeah, that goes out to
all three of our viewers, you guys.
No, I was gonna say that goes for me as well, because it's a. I mean, I think it goes for anyone, but you know, I'm trying to figure out how to do that every day, and it's rough. So,
and like the best men and the best fathers are the ones that can discipline in a way that only makes them more respected and like more loved, even if not in the moment.
Yeah.
But like you get a father that yells at you in the right way, and you learn how to behave, and you learn a lot of love for him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we'll stop there.
Yep. We'll see you guys before Christmas.
Yeah, before Christmas.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.